Welcome to Mad Props. A little bit different of a background because I forgot to do the beginning and the end, but we have Beserat Debebe coming on. But before we do that, make sure you check us out social media at Mad Props Pod. Subscribe everywhere if you haven't already, and join the Discord. It's going quick because we're going to go over to Josh Allen of Montana Dog Food Company. He's going to tell us a little bit about him and a little bit about his company. So we're going to swipe over and get right to that. All right, joining me now is Josh Allen, founder of Montana Dog Food Company, who, if you watched the Sam Marin episode, you saw their product a little bit. You saw how much my dogs were about to attack me over that product, which they were. I mean, they actually were attacking me over the product. They love this stuff. It's all gone. I think I told you before, it's all gone now. But we have you on. Talk a little bit about yourself, give the background to the viewers and listeners, and then let's know a little bit more. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, what is your background? How do you get into something like making dog food and dog treats and all dog toys?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on. Your comments about your dogs and how much they love the product is a common one, right? Like my dogs go crazy for the stuff, and I hear that all the time. So we're thankful to be making good stuff, right? So it's my wife and I that do the business together. Holly is her name. So we've been in the pet industry for like 20 years. Originally founded a retail store, little dog boutique store. In 2008 was the beginning of that turned into a chain of stores. And we sold a lot of freeze-dried food at the time. Freeze-dried food was really new at that point. There's only a couple brands doing it. This concept of having a shelf-stable, raw, fresh product that you could add to the dog's bowl and kind of increase the overall nutritional value of the bowl like really easily, and not have to deal with freezers and frozen and thawing and mess and all that. So we knew just the convenience and the value of that type of product. So after we sold all of our stores, it was kind of like, what's next for us? And so this product, Montana Dog Foods, we've got meals and treats. It was kind of what we wished we would have had to sell, all the various components and added value features of the product is what we wish we would have had back then. And so we got into the pet industry a long time ago, and our next phase of pet industry stuff is Montana Dog Food Co. And we're happy to be here.
Yeah, I tell people, first of all, forget having you a spot or having you on. I tell people that have dogs constantly, this stuff is amazing just because I am now a user of it. But I think it is that raw food that like they just enjoy so much. We started using it as like the topper because we could give them a full bowl and they'll just be like licking the bowl for an hour later. So we started kind of giving it as topper, but I think it is that raw food. Like another one I thought of was like the farmer's dog, which we used to do, which they love that as well because it's like the natural food. It's not like a bunch of random ingredients thrown together. It's actually natural food. And you can just see the dogs like it more. Like overall, they like that food more than something you're going to get from the store itself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Most all, even like the really high end, good ingredient kibbles, like the traditional kibble, even the good stuff is, cooked at a super high temperature, super high pressure to kind of kill all the potential bad stuff in there and make it safe. But it cooks off and kills off a lot of the good things too. Kind of like down at the cellular level, it denatures the protein, makes the protein not as able to be digestible and healthy for the dog. So even the really good kibbles are, because of the way they make it kind of kills off some of the good stuff. So ours is essentially a raw food that hasn't been cooked, right? So they freeze dry it. They freeze it really fast, really, really cold, suck out the ice crystals. The manufacturing process is really cool. And so it just leaves this uncooked but shelf stable product that, it's a complete and balanced meal. So it's got fat, protein, carbohydrates, all the vitamins and minerals you'd need to be able to feed it 100% by itself. If you were, traveling, backpacking, it's really easy. It's lightweight and all that stuff. Most people use it as a topper for the kibble. It's an expensive process, just freeze drying in general. So it kind of makes the product expensive across the board. So freeze drying, feeding that by itself, it would be an expensive endeavor. Some people do, but most use cases is just take out 25, 30% of the kibble, replace it with 25 or 30% of Montana dog food. And it just increases the health viability of those nutritional ingredients.
Yeah. That's kind of the direction we went in when we had it. Was we were giving it to them at first, and then we're like, if we just take, because we wanted to already start like giving them a little less. We overfeed the dogs because we're
everyone
dog
does.
people. Everyone overfeeds their dogs. So it was a great way to start taking some of it out and adding some of this in, so they like still get all the everything they need.
Yeah.
But it became a thing of like sometimes our dog Sadie would only eat the Montana dog
Yeah.
food stuff and wouldn't eat the rest of it because that's all she really wanted at the end of the
Yeah.
day. But that it is a nice little balance there if you wanted to take that out or get that into there. So you said before this you were you had pet stores and stuff like that. So how did you
Yep.
get into the industry overall as a pet owner?
Yeah. So way back then, so we're in Bozeman in Montana. At the time I was in healthcare before this, and my wife was working at a vet clinic here in our town. And so back then it was, this dates me a little bit, but it was kind of hard to like even buy stuff online, like natural, holistic things that an animal pet lover, dog lover would want. And so we just sensed a little gap in our town for a, you know, boutique store that had some natural alternatives and holistic remedies and really good foods and that kind of thing. Common story across the country, across the industry at that time. But we filled the gap in our town, and it went really well. So we kind of expanded across the state. But originally it was just my wife working in the vet clinic and sensing that there was customers wanting stuff they couldn't find locally. And right around that same time, we ended up with this little rescue dog that had a bunch of health problems. And so we were searching for those products also for ourselves. And so we were experiencing that same kind of pain point that our other locals were. And so we solved the problem for ourselves, but then also, opened business to help others too.
Yeah, and Bozeman is beautiful. I've been there 2 times.
Hmm.
I used to go to school out in Spokane, Washington,
Okay. Yeah.
and I'm originally from New York, so I had to
Yeah.
get there and I had to get back.
Yep.
So I went through. First time was very quick, but the second time I went back, I made like a whole thing of it. Like I stopped at a bunch of places. I'm a big
Yeah.
basketball player, so every
Uh-huh.
spot I stopped at, I had to find a court somewhere and play
Yeah.
basketball.
Cool.
And Bozeman, if I remember right, I don't remember exactly where it was, so I can't tell you where it was. If you wanted to
Yeah.
go hoop at this place,
Yeah.
no shot, I could tell you. But there was a spot by a lake, and the hoop was like right on the lake. It was a super nice spot. Was able to play pickup there for about an hour before I had to take off.
Yep.
But like it was a new court, new court, new hoops, new everything. It
Yeah.
was
I
one of
know
my
the
favorite
spot.
spots. You
Yep.
know the spot. So
Yep.
yeah, I've been to that spot. I played
Cool.
basketball at that spot
Yeah. That's
because
a good court.
it is a really good court. I bought a ball before I left, and the idea was take this ball everywhere I go and then write the city on it, take a photo.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's a photo of me somewhere on that court, but there,
Cool.
but right where I was and stuff like that. But because I stopped so many places, I had so much time on my hands. I just got a job in Connecticut when this happened. So I was going from
Uh-huh.
Spokane to Connecticut, but I had like 2 weeks or 3 weeks to get
Oh,
there.
yeah.
So I'm like,
Cool.
I'm just going to take my time. So I stopped all these places. By the time I got to Connecticut, the ball was just done. Like you couldn't use it anymore because it
Yeah.
was so overused for that 2 week span. Because I was stopping
Yep.
all these different places that it just
That's cool.
completely took out everything. So outside of doing the dog food and the pet stores and all that stuff, what do you like to do in every day? What are some hobbies that you
Yeah.
have?
Yeah. Actually, I'm a hooper as well. I used to be kind of retired now, but, played growing up, played through college. And now I coach, I have 2 boys, so I coach both of them. And so we play lots of basketball in our family as well. I golf a little bit. We have a bird dog, so I do some upland hunting in the fall, upland birds. And, mostly just be husband and dad and run the business. Yeah.
That's I think that's why I play so much basketball now. I actually didn't grow up playing basketball. I was
Mhm.
super heavy growing up. So I played baseball my whole life
Yep.
until about like 1 year into college. And then I played a little bit after college, but nothing professional, mostly like semi-pro and amateur.
Uh-huh.
But I started playing basketball when I got to Spokane, Washington,
Yeah.
obviously Gonzaga and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So plus I'll say I've lived in Indianapolis. I lived in Hartford, Connecticut. I've lived in all these places that like to consider themselves like the basketball capital of the world.
Yeah.
Nowhere else. Spokane was the basketball capital of the world. And the reason I'll tell you is
Yep.
because every corner you went to, there was a brand new court somewhere outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every single corner. I don't know if you've been to Spokane at all or anything
We were
like
just
that,
there
but
for Hoop Fest, the giant 3-on-3 tournament.
yeah,
It was
Hoop
this
Fest.
past
Yeah,
weekend. Yeah, we were just there. Yep.
Did you play in it, or did you just go to
No,
did you
my
know
boys
people in
play.
it?
Yeah, my body's broken from too many years of
Retire.
hooping, but,
Yeah.
yeah, so we were
Semi-retire.
we were fans.
Yeah, I played in that, 3 no, it couldn't be 3. Time flies. I still can't believe
Yeah,
2020 was 6 years ago at this point.
yeah.
But, I played in that as well for a couple of games. I was just a fill-in. I didn't actually sign up for it. They were just like,
Uh-huh.
"Yeah, my name's Daniel. Sure. Why not? Come on." But Hoopfest was awesome. Hoopfest in Bloomfield, the run that they do were, like, 2 of
Yeah,
my favorite things that I wish they did everywhere else I lived, because those are
yeah.
2 just awesome events. When I lived in
Yep.
Connecticut, they do something like Hoopfest at the Basketball Hall of Fame, which is in Springfield, which is
Yeah.
fairly close to Hartford, but it
Mhm.
wasn't the same. It wasn't the same as Hoop Fest out there. But
Yeah.
that's why they have all the new courts, is because
Yep.
the Hoop Fest team like donates all those different courts
Yeah.
and different things and all that different stuff. So yeah, Spokane's a great place. But that's every corner of this basketball court. That's how
Yep.
I got so into basketball, because a
Okay,
lot of
yeah,
people are
cool.
playing it, but there's just you can go where you could just walk down the street and there's a court somewhere
Yeah,
that you could just play at. So then I've been playing ever since, and now I play
cool.
like 5, 6 times a week. So
Awesome.
play a lot of basketball. So tell us a little bit about the product. You kind of told us the upbringing of the product, but tell us
Yep.
why it means so much to you, and tell us more about the product itself and why it's great for every dog to have.
Yeah, so, coming from, the pet industry, we're, my wife and I super passionate about, using nutrition as a healing mechanism for a lot of animals, right? So, because lots of dogs eat kind of crappy food, the owners not intentionally, but sometimes the food is the problem. And so, we're passionate about nutrition for pets, for these dogs that we love, right? And so the our line is freeze dried, so no high pressure cooking like we talked about before. We have meals and treats. So the meals have added pre and probiotics, so it kind of helps with digestion, uptake of all the good stuff that's already in there. And then we're one of the only freeze dried brands in the country that doesn't use any synthetic ingredients. So all of the nutrition comes from the whole foods that are in there. So no added on vitamin packs afterwards, no spray on vitamins, which is what a lot of people do just to meet all the requirements. Um, so those two things are really big selling points and make the product really advantageous for your dog. All ingredients are from the Western U.S. All of it's made in the U.S. Super. You can just trust it, right? It's us. We're a small company. We're standing behind it, and so we wouldn't put our name on something that wasn't good. So that's the food, and then the treats are just single ingredient little, for allergy dogs and dogs that have kind of sensitive stomachs. The treats are so you can kind of pick what protein source you want. But so it's fairly simple product mix, and man, we're just really excited about it. And the dogs that like you experienced that are trying it are loving it, and hopefully being healthier and kind of longer lifespan, all those things too.
And when you went to freeze dried, what made you decide that? Was there a brand you saw that was doing it? Did you see it wasn't really a tapped market? Did you and how do you even get it to that? What companies do you work with to get it to that?
Yeah, so I mean, there's kibble, there's frozen, there's air dried. Freeze dried. We ended up picking. So it's pretty big capital investment to get into making kibble. And we just knew that it wasn't the most nutritious way to feed your dog. We also knew that there was like lots of pain points with feeding raw food, freezer space at your house being one of them, and they have to remember to thaw it and clean up the mess. And so we ended up just landing on freeze dried. And I just loved the fact that you could take all this raw, wholesome stuff and take it with you camping really easily, right? Or whatever that was. And so there's too many benefits to the freeze dried model versus kibble or raw or other things. That's the way we went, and we're super happy with it. I mean, it's fairly competitive space. There's lots of freeze dried brands out there, but we feel like we've got a couple differentiating things in our products that make it better than the other guys.
And when I first reached out to you, I told you, like, when I was looking for products and stuff to have on this podcast, I wanted stuff that I also would believe in. And before even you sending it out, and you're nice enough to give us some for the dogs, and I now tell everybody the dogs attacked me just to get to it.
Yeah.
But before that, I would do my research into these products, because one thing about this podcast, I was never big on having products on the podcast itself,
Mm-hmm.
unless it was like someone came on and promoted their book. It's like, all right, that's one
Yeah.
thing. But having products on the podcast itself was something I was always kind of against, because when I listen to things, I don't like, and now let's hear for 45 seconds from this or 2 minutes from this.
Yeah.
So when it's come to me that I should start trying to look for that kind of stuff, I decided to like really research into it. And dog
Mm-hmm.
food brands is one of the first things I looked into,
Oh yeah.
because my personality is my podcast, my work, and my dogs. Like, I don't really have much outside of that. So I want to, if it's something I'm going to endorse, especially for dogs, I want it to be something that I actually believe in, a product that I actually think is great for the dog. So
Yep.
went to the website, searched around, all that stuff, and landed on this. And that's why I reached out to you, because I
Cool.
truly believe in this product before I even tried it. And
Yeah.
now we've tried it, and I super believe in this product, because I got packaging. I was able to look at the packaging, but also
Yeah.
the dogs are always telling me, hey, go get more, go get more, go get more.
Yeah.
So this is a great product. And I appreciate you sending that out. And I think everybody should go grab some. There's a link in the description of this right here, so you can go grab it. If you were to give one line, I didn't prepare you for this, you can take a second to think. You give one
Yeah.
line about the product of why everybody should get it. What is that one line? What is that one word that you would say about this product of why everybody should go get Montana Dog Food Company for their pups?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of trust that, even though people don't know me or don't know my wife, so that's probably the number one thing, right? The dogs are our kids, they're our family members. And so, we believe we're making something that you could trust to feed your dog to be healthier. I could tell you all the different selling features and all that stuff, but I think it's really just, you know, treating your animal like your kid and being able to trust what you're putting in their bowl, because the dog doesn't control it, you do, right? So I think that's probably the number one thing. And so I think I'm probably standing here saying you can trust us, and your dog's going to be healthier for it.
Montana Dog Food Company, go get some for your pups. They're going to love it. You could trust him. You could trust me. Just trust yourself. Trust your dog. You're going to love it. Go grab some today. Josh, thank you for coming on.
You bet, man. Thank you for having me.
Another interview at Comic Palooza. Introduce yourself. What do you do? What is all this?
Well, first off, thanks for having me. My name is Beserat Debebe. I am from Ethiopian Comics. And Ethiopian Comics, we publish African stories in graphic novels and comics format. And our main mission is really to introduce folks to African mythology and folklore that we grew up with. I'm originally from Ethiopia, East Africa, and also to empower African creators to put their stories out there and get it in the mainstream as much as possible.
So the first thing, I'm gonna grab your book really quick.
Yeah,
This guy here, these are the same ones, right? Right here.
yeah, that one's the graphic
Static
novel.
Shock.
No,
Is Static Shock I see it.
I love Static Shock.
I see it. I'm like,
There's
Static Shock
some
is
influence in there.
yeah.
That was my first story. It's titled Jember. We have it got so popular we had to make an early reader version of it, like a younger kid's version of it.
Oh, so this is the
that's
first
the
one.
graphic
This is the
novel.
first
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah, this is
Mind my wrongness there.
It's all good. But yeah, that's that was my first story. That's how everything got kicked off. I started around 2017, 2018, doing this like in a very serious way, and it's just a kind of a coming of age superhero story, but just set in the capital city of Ethiopia, and there's a different relationship to being a hero in Ethiopia than what you see either here in the West or in the East, in kind of the Japanese manga style.
Yeah.
People are not readily accepting of heroes, and showing off and things like that are not really they're frowned upon.
Yeah.
People kind of keep to themselves.
Yeah.
It's more about community rather than standing out. So when you have these abilities, and you're trying to just be like, hey, me, there's a different reaction to that.
Yeah.
So I really was kind of just diving deeper into that concept. And then I also love using stories to share some of my personal lessons that I've learned. And Jember is about a story about self-worth and how to find your own self-worth and not seek it from other people.
So how does the story start? Where do you come up with the concept, and why do you decide you want to make this book right here? What makes you want to make this book?
Yeah, when I first started, I'll be real with you, it was a dare. Because what happened was, I've loved animation and comics for a long time, but I've never seen like Ethiopian folklore and mythology in it. And
No, all superheroes are from New York. What are you talking about? They're all from New York.
or Japan, or Tokyo. But
I saw one from Louisiana once. I was like, "This is a breath of fresh air." Nothing bad happens here, apparently.
So that was like kind of like eating me up, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And it was a dare with myself and a few friends I had, and I did the first issue, which was like 22 pages, and it just literally went from the question of what would happen if there was a superpowered being in Ethiopia. Like, how would people react to that?
Yeah.
And that is, I did the first issue of that, and I was just gonna stop there, but the reaction I got from it was really like a strong reaction. I mean, I'm talking about like my friends loved it, and then we got featured on BBC, which was like, I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
I was not media trained. Like, people were asking me deep questions like, oh, what was the how long have you been thinking about this, the process, and I'm like,
when did this interview start?
Yeah.
2 minutes ago.
It's like 2 p.m. yesterday. And so, and then after that, I became really serious. I was like, okay, this is like, it's not just me now. Like, I wanted this, but now I know a lot of people also want this. So I started, really, really kind of learning on the craft and going deeper into it. And that's how it kicked off.
So we said Static Shock before. What are the abilities of the hero? Like, what are the powers that he has? Looks like electricity. That's what made me think Static Shock in the first place.
No, that's fair. So
without giving out too much of the book,
that's
obviously,
okay.
because we want people to buy this baby.
Yeah, I think
Come buy this book.
I love that. So Jember, the name of the book and the name of the superhero, it means the sun, like sun in Amharic or the Ethiopian language. His powers is has the ability to change the sun's energy into any energy. So he's solar, but he doesn't just change it to like any electricity, but he can do other powers.
Harness the energy.
Yeah, harness the energy.
Reproduce it.
Exactly. So
Gotcha.
he can speed himself up, he can levitate, he can do other things. It's kind of with this biotech suit. And
Yeah.
So
see, that's interesting, because most people are stuck to like one power or all the powers.
Yeah.
I like more of a superhero that has a bunch of abilities but has a limitation. Like, you can only go for the sun, so if you can't harness that power, like,
exactly.
you're
So
toast.
you have a timeline.
You're toast.
You have
on
a
that.
charge. It's like after that you're back to human.
Yeah,
So
no better than a solar panel.
Exactly.
You better charge up at that time.
And so it's I thought it was a cool concept.
And now this one here, they're connected in universe, correct?
Yep, same universe. That was the second story I started writing. This one is a little different in genre. It's not a superhero genre. It's just mythology, kind of fantasy. And this one was born out of my love for African history. And it features this legendary warrior queen, 10th century Ethiopian queen, and her story. She, in our history books, in Ethiopian history books, she is kind of labeled as the bad guy because she took down this huge empire that was there in Ethiopia for a long time, like 900 years, and they were very faith-centric, like a Christian-centric, and so she's known for burning their churches, burning a lot of the town, and things like that. And there's a mythology around her that is associated with fire. And so I kind of started digging deep into that. I learned a lot about her, and actually learned how she was wronged before she went down this path of, that
Yeah.
you take this over. This is unacceptable.
You learn the reasoning.
The
behind.
reasoning,
She's
yeah.
not-
And I thought it was so fascinating. And I was like, oh, this is what they mean, that history is written by victors. Because once she was kind of removed from power, they came back on power, and then history was written as if they, with
Yeah.
the big champions and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to tell that story in a new way, and that's how we.
Yeah, bad people don't start bad, except for maybe the Joker. Even the Joker has a backstory of how he became, well, a backstory,
Yeah.
60 of them.
Yeah,
but, like,
that's right.
Even the Joker has a backstory, like,
Yeah.
so it's cool to see, like, this person thought they were doing right, ends up doing wrong,
Yeah.
and then goes from there. So when they intertwine, like, does the hero meet up with the villain in comics? Like, how do they meet up?
Yeah, well, I don't want to ruin that.
Yeah, don't
but-
ruin the whole thing. You get what I'm saying? Like, how did the worlds
I do what
intertwine?
you're saying. Yeah. So what actually happens is that the hero that is chasing this evil queen in Hawi meets up with Jember.
Gotcha.
And so, but they meet up in a way that is contradictory to their objectives. So she wants to stop the queen, and he wants to stop her because she's sort of creating chaos
Yeah.
in order to get to that queen. And so
Gotcha.
it's like these two forces that are trying to achieve their own objectives and be right,
Yeah.
kind of clashing in their path.
Yeah. I was gonna say you don't have to give away the.
No,
Just
no.
more of like how do they intertwine.
I think people, I think it makes people want to read more about.
Yeah,
it
you
when
want to hear how this.
Yeah.
How do they clash?
Yeah,
Like, what do they
exactly,
clash
yeah,
about?
We're living in a world where a lot of us think that the thing we're pursuing, our ambition, is the right path, and we want to make the best life for ourselves. But that ends up always clashing with other people's ambitions and needs, and that's just a matter of life, So
Yeah. So this whole booth, you have other books as well. So you
Yeah.
publish. When did you start doing that, and how does that process work?
Yeah, so originally it was just me that was writing the books and working with artists. After a few years, I saw the appetite for more African folklore and mythology stories, so I started working with artists from Zimbabwe, South Africa, East Africa, North Africa, West Africa, and now we have a full kind of publishing line. And we have several books. We do anthologies on a regular basis where you have a book with 10 different stories. Because a lot of people I notice as well are not familiar with African folklore.
Yeah.
And they need some sort of intro to kind of, get themselves into the series. So these anthologies help a lot with that. And then, we have multiple genres, Sometimes I have not written in for example, horror genre. It's tough for me to write horror genres, but I see people who love that kind of story. So we've published somebody like that, sci-fi genre.
Keep the whole thing open.
Yeah,
Someone might not like this, but they might like that. and
Exactly,
Just because you can't do it doesn't mean someone else can't. Kind of thing.
I like the image comics or the manga model
Yeah.
publishing than more DC Marvel where it's all in one universe.
Yeah.
That's great, but I prefer much more diverse.
They don't
set of-
always have to be in the same universe.
Yeah.
If they're all in the same universe, sometimes it doesn't make sense. Like, why
Yeah.
didn't they show up for this?
Yeah.
When the world was ending, why didn't you show up? You're in the same universe.
Yeah.
That's the MCU in a nutshell to
Yep.
me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the world's ending, but only Spider-Man can show up.
Yeah.
What are the other guys doing? Just chilling? Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
I do love Marvel.
Yeah.
But I still
You're a Marvel fan over DC?
well, so when I was young,
Yeah.
and I'm talking like single digits here.
Yeah.
My dad would take me to flea markets, and we would get Spider-Man comics, and we'd get them by like the box load because, for people that don't know, they were bankrupt, and like they were giving those things away.
Yeah.
So we'd get them by the box load, and I would just read Spider-Man comics, and I just really connected with Spider-Man, like many people do, right? That's why he's so popular, and that's kind of what got me into. I mean, the good thing about everybody being in that same universe is like. Then my favorite is Spider-Man, but my second favorite is Daredevil.
Yeah.
Daredevil was in so many of Spider-Man's comics. Like Punisher, so many. Like I'm glad they're having a renaissance right now.
Yeah.
He didn't show up, but Charlie Cox being Daredevil and stuff like that. Like I am happy that those are successful because like Daredevil really was my second favorite hero of all of them. But that's how I got into that. But it doesn't hurt that I start getting into it in the late '90s, and then the Sam Raimi movies come out, and it's like those are awesome. So I started watching watching those. And then, like, you know, Spider-Man's had the long line of video games and all this other stuff. So it's easy to keep up with it. But that's why I've always liked it. I still try to read the new ones. I read the, was it Zeb Wells ones that just came out? And I told you, just interviewed, like, creators and all this stuff. So, yeah. That's why I like Marvel over DC. It has nothing to do with it has nothing to do with Marvel nor DC. It just has to do. I was introduced to one first, and it just stuck. And it helped that, like, the movies and stuff. Like, DC didn't do a good run, and Marvel did. So
no, that's exactly what happened to me, but in reverse. In that DC was the one that I was first introduced to. When I was in Ethiopia, there's a lot of imported stories, and Superman is like the biggest hero that everybody was introduced to. Then Batman. And then I started to enjoy Marvel when I came here because, like you said, it
was everywhere.
It was everywhere, they just dominated with the MCU. And so you were like, you can't. Of course, you gotta love it. You know, you just enjoy it. You're a fan.
You're gonna run into it in some way, shape, or form. So you kind of just get into it. But I'm lucky to have enjoyed the comics first. So, like, when I do go, I could see, like, oh, this fits here, this fits there. You want to buy a book? They're great. They're great stuff. Come on through.
Have a look.
There's a first in podcast history, but selling a book while on a podcast. No, please. I'm the one that called you over.
Let me know if you have any questions. These are all African mythology folklore comics. They're made by African creators as well.
I've been to South Africa 6 times.
Oh, fantastic. You will love this one.
Okay.
This is a Southern African mythology book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know, it's funny.
I should have you in my booth all the time.
When you're interviewed, what happens? So that's cool like that. Like, first of all, that's a podcast first. We've never sold anything on a podcast. We barely even have ads. We never sold anything on a podcast before. But that's the thing with these booths. Like, when we have voice actors and stuff like that, I tell them all the time, like, the most interesting thing to me is just kind of sitting in the background and watching them do their thing. Like, a lot of people will have people come up and all they want is the voice. They don't even know the person. It's really interesting to me to, like, sit back and just watch it happen almost. So, like, something like that, I'm like, let's do it. Like, let's watch it go. It's gotta be. It's a difficult thing. You gotta draw people in. You gotta bring people over. And you gotta get them to do it. You know?
It wasn't like this for me when I first started out. Man, I used to have a hard time pitching. But now, you know, kind of the work also speaks for itself in a way, and it's a good draw. I've been coming to Comic Palooza for a little bit too, so it helps.
So you're a frequent, like, people kind of know you're going to be there and stuff like that.
They kind of know, and we have some people that come knowing that we have new titles every year, and they want to get the newest stuff.
Do you find yourself a little more reserved? Are you able to kind of get up and say, "Hey, come on over, like, come read this thing"? Or are you a little in between?
When I first started out, I was reserved. I was like, I'm just gonna let people come.
If they come, they come. Hopefully the images.
I will draw them. Now I'm a lot more outgoing. You know, I've learned a lot during these years, and what I've learned really is, you know, in these conventions, it's actually every no has a value. Every no has a value, meaning that if I call a passerby and, you know, they say no, if I said do 5 passerbys and I get one customer to buy a book for $30, let's say, those 5 no's, 6 no's essentially cost me, you know, 30 divided by 6, which is $5. So that's how I see it now. It's a matter of, hey, all right, you just gotta keep. It's a numbers game. You gotta
get one. You're gonna.
You gotta keep reaching out. The people that want to buy it will buy it, and really that's about it. You don't have to take the no as a personal rejection of your work. Everybody's just here to enjoy.
Because it's not personal.
Exactly.
Usually. Like, you can't say it's personal. Somebody doesn't want to buy something. If they don't want to buy something, they don't want to buy something.
And the people who want to buy really like your stuff. You know, like they find it helpful. So you got to reframe. Like, I learned to reframe my mindset to say that, okay, you know, I'm just genuinely trying to get these books to the people who want them. You know? And so when I think of it that way, I don't think of it as like, okay, I'm bugging people or, you know, things like that. But so I just keep trying.
No, you just got to do what you got to do. How many of these do you go to? Not just Comic Palooza, but like, how many of these conventions do you go to?
You know, I'm kind of decreasing a little bit this past few years. I just got some kids, and I was like,
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. And but I try to go one per quarter. In Houston, I try to go to at least 2 or 3. That's right now. That's my target. But when I can get fully back into it, I would like to do a lot more than that.
So where do sales usually come from for you then? Are they online? Do you have a shop? Like, where do they come from?
Yeah, we do online. We do crowdfunding on Kickstarter. We do events. So these 3 are big sales drivers. We're also in a few bookstores and libraries and shops as well. GCC, one of the really popular comic shops here, Gulf Coast Comics, has our books. I do kind of signings and things like that too.
And you had some guy come up on a mobile bookstore right before we started.
That's right. See, that was the exactly how I make connections here. And people come to because they want the books to vend them books or distribute the books themselves.
Yeah.
And that gets us a lot of good revenue.
Don't even have to say what the price of it is, but the price of a booth like this is usually worth it because of connection. You not only are you selling stuff, people think you're just selling stuff. It's connecting not only with the people passing by, but connecting with the booth across and the booth over here and the publisher over there and all these people that are coming here and stuff like this. There are a lot of publishers that come out because this is a haven for them. Like they can come find something interesting and try to get you on board like crazy. I'm sure you get people that are publishers or bookstores or something like that coming up. Pretty often.
Not only that, but we also get a lot of really well-known comic creators that come through and like very happy to see this kind of work, want to partner up. That leads to more work, so it has a lot of benefits than just like the booth cost and covering that and things like that. So I enjoy it. I also get really inspired by talking to our customers as well. I get reminded of why we do this. And it's nice to see a kid be like, oh my God, this is so cool, I've never seen. I know if I was in their position, as a kid and going around a convention, I'm like, I just saw Ethiopian mythology.
Yeah.
It would blow my mind.
Yeah.
So that piece of it is very rewarding.
It's really good to have something different too. Like we were just saying, every hero's from New York as a joke, but it's really not that much of a joke. Like all the heroes are from New York, especially in Marvel, even DC, Batman, Superman. I guess I guess they're technically not from New York, but they are.
And the only ones we get is like Black Panther, and Black Panther is from a fictional place called Wakanda. There's a real actual like mythologies in the places in Africa. Like you can there's so many amazing stories, really like rich mythologies, and it's okay. I'm a fan of Black Panther. Please don't get me wrong, anybody. But I know we can do so much more. There's so much more nuance. There's so much more, entertaining, visually stunning stuff coming out from African creators. And that's what we want to show.
Yeah, and if one could be from a real place, why they should all just be from a real place. I guess it helps because then you can kind of give it whatever artistry you want to, right? Like at the end of the day. But that's why I was talking about one from Louisiana. There really is one. It's called Rogue Sun. It's an Image comic, but like he's from Louisiana. Like it's just so different. It's really great. Like they're not even from the Northeast. Like they're from somewhere completely different. I think, and early in the comics, Spider-Man goes to Florida for a little bit. I'm like, this is great. This is fantastic. At least he's not in the same New York all the time. He's expanding a little bit.
That's the stuff I enjoy. Like I enjoy learning about other people, other cultures. It really helped me. Comics really helped me when I came to the States. Whether it's language skills, reading skills, or just understanding pop culture. It was just very valuable for me, and I want to do that. I want to share our perspectives of the world, the African perspective of the world, the wisdoms that have been passed down, and just also entertain people with this stuff. So
where do you draw? So you have 2 books out, right? What were the dates of these releases? What do you have coming up? Like, are they going to connect to this? Or are you kind of thinking of doing stuff outside of this?
Great question. So Jember came out. Excuse me. Jember came out around 2020, and then the graphic novel came out about 2 years later, 22, and then the newest book. I don't have. This is the newest book we're about to publish. It's called Zufan. I just brought the sample here just to show people that, hey, this is coming up. But this is a sci-fi story.
Okay.
It tells the 1896 Italian invasion of Ethiopia through a sci-fi lens.
Okay.
And it's a standalone. It's not tying to the other universe. I'm very excited about this book because this is a really important part of the Ethiopian kind of history and identity. You know, during that era, the 1880s, 1890s. It was the era of the scramble for Africa, where different European countries came and tried to, take different parts of Africa for themselves. And Ethiopia became the only African nation to not be colonized. And it's such a powerful Black history story that no one knows about here.
Yeah.
And it's shocking to me when I learned about it. It's not taught in schools. It's just nobody knows.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to share that, but I wanted to share it also in a fun and in a new takeaway. So if you like Star Wars, you would love this kind of stuff, right?
What do you think in the publishing date of this is going to be?
It's literally being printed and it will be available starting August.
August.
Yeah.
So go look at the site in August to
Yeah.
get this thing. So you don't want to continue in the same universe, or you just like wanted to expand a little bit?
Yeah, I wanted to branch out a little bit, kind of also expand my own creative muscles, I do want to continue that universe. I'll come back to it for sure. But I also, I as I said earlier, like I don't want to go like Marvel DC route as far as our brand.
Yeah.
I want to go Image Comics and diverse stories. And so for me, that path felt a lot more authentic to me.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see, okay, what does it feel like to learn sci-fi? And I have to keep growing, right, as a creator. So I wanted to challenge myself in doing that.
Yeah, I see a lot of like independents especially will have like branch outs,
Yeah.
but then make them all connect in some way and make
Yeah.
some big universe of it and stuff like that, because that's what all the big ones do now,
Yeah.
right? They make a big universe. So again, a breath of fresh air to see someone that's actually
Yeah.
looking to do different stories and stuff like that. Would that kind of become its own universe, or is that a solo
Yes.
story?
If it does as well as I'm seeing the pre-order perception, then it'll have its own universe.
And the pre-order reception, people finding it, is
Yeah.
that all through like social media? Like, where are you getting a lot of the word out, or is it places like this?
Crowdfunding. Kickstarter is a big place for comics. So we always try to go to Kickstarter to introduce our stuff first, see the demand that people have. This book has raised $70K
70K on its own?
on its own.
Is that from sales or people
From
donating?
sales.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it had a huge funding, orders, and so we're very happy, and so that will be fulfilled, that in July, and then it
It
comes out in
becomes
August
public.
for everybody.
So the pre-orders in July, but the public gets it
Exactly.
in August. Right? You said August 1st.
So if folks, if that transitions into when we take it to events, when we take it to bookstores and things like that, then we'll definitely double down on that and keep making more.
So where can people find your work? Where can people find your books?
Yeah.
Where can people find you on social? Go ahead. Plug away. Where
Sure.
are people finding you?
It's very simple. Everything is Etan Comics, ETAN Comics, etancomics.com, and at Etan Comics for all handles, TikTok, Instagram, X, whichever one you follow, YouTube. It's very simple. If you type it on Google, you'll find that. It's where the first ones that come up. So.
And do you run your own socials?
Yeah, I run mostly.
Do you enjoy it?
I have a love-hate relationship. I used to enjoy it in the early days. Nowadays, especially with AI, it's becoming, I don't know, it's becoming a little pointless in a way, because you can't tell what's real and what's not. Bots.
Isn't it
commenting.
crazy?
Yes, it really is.
Isn't it crazy?
I don't know. We'll see. But I prefer newsletters. We have a newsletter that we run. I send emails out. Folks can sign up. They get a free digital book when they sign up as well. And so, you can.
That's the one I got to get on. We used to do
Yeah.
newsletters all the time, and then we just stopped. We have a good amount of people. We'll get back on the newsletter.
Definitely.
Sign up for both newsletters, not just one.
Yeah,
sign up for mine too.
sign up for sure. Yeah, because I think the more direct relationship you have with the folks that support you, the better for your business, for your longevity, all that stuff. So newsletters for sure.
So grab the books. Grab that one there too.
Yeah.
Go grab the books. There's a bunch of them out there. Interesting stuff. You're going to want to go get them. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank
Appreciate you.
Man. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Beserat, for joining us. Thank you, Josh Allen, for being here. Remember, you can find Montana Dog Food Company at their website or in the description of this podcast right now. Make sure you follow us on social media at Mad Props Pod. Wherever you get your social media, we are dropping clips every single day. So if you're listening and you want to see something again or you want to see something new, go ahead and follow us on social media. Make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, whether that's Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever, or go to your YouTube and subscribe to that. We are dropping YouTube clips as well, along with doing lives on YouTube. So if you don't already subscribe on YouTube, subscribe. We are also doing lives on TikTok. So if you're not subscribed on TikTok or following on TikTok, make sure you go and do that as well. Appreciate you all being here. We'll be back next week with another episode of Mad Props. Thank you so much. Peace out.